because obviously this all starts with military service.
Yeah.
So why don't we talk about it? So I got out at the start of this year. My last day was in February this year. 11
Oh,
years.
wow.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
8 years as a grunt, and
Yeah.
then the last three or whatever as a QE. So
Yeah.
yeah, man. So that was me. What about you? What service were you?
I was army. I was in transport. It was a long time ago now, so
Yeah.
I've got bad memory with a lot of it because it was fairly. I didn't do much. It was fairly insignificant. But I did 06 2010. So
Okay.
that is what are we 15 years ago?
Wow. Jesus. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's 3 years up. So I originally tried in 2010 and they knocked me back for 2 years. So I would have
Oh,
been
really?
trying to join as you were leaving. Well, man, you would have
Okay.
been getting out. It would have been still been Trip City. What got you out?
Of the military,
Yeah, yeah.
or
Was it injury
oh
or
well, I never really wanted to do that. I
no?
wanted to be a pilot, and I was trying to apply through them to be an army pilot, and they just weren't putting it through. I had more chance. I applied in school to be a pilot and was very close. They offered me the I think it's like it's got a funny name. It's basically a navigator, like the combat something. And
Okay.
that's when they still had F111s. But I was a bit, because you're young, I was so arrogant. I was like, why would I take that? I could be an F111 pilot. I never was good enough to be an F111 pilot, but
Yeah, yeah.
you're young and arrogant. So I turned it down and went, I'll just go to the army for a bit and maybe try going that way. And it didn't work. And then I was like, I was doing better. Now they're not even putting my application through at all. They're not even letting me try. So I was better off so I just left to go do flying instead as a civilian.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. So how long have you been flying for?
I did flying. I did a degree and then was flying for a little while up until I had a child. And so that was, it took me a while to do the degree. I did 4 years full time and then started doing the rest of it part time.
Hmm.
And then did my pilot license as well. And I only flew a little bit, just bug smashes, and was a flight attendant with Qantas as well, doing those two
Yeah.
things at the same time.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
So where did comedy come into the picture?
Okay, so I'd had a child, had left work completely, and I think having a baby, I think for men and women is very isolating. So if you're used to both those things like Qantas, the army, uni, all are very institutional kind of places
Mm.
with rules, maybe a lot of social things you have to do, and then to suddenly get removed from that and just be alone at home, was pretty daunting. And I think I sort of slowly stopped thinking so much in like a corporate way or socially having to follow certain rules. And as you move away from it, you start to be able to do other things. And I needed to be able to sort of express myself, which I hadn't. You don't get to do much in the army, do you? You've got to do what you're told. You don't really get to say what you're feeling or that you don't really want to do that right now or anything like that. So I was finally at a point where I could probably start talking about, my life a bit. I just started doing open mic nights and then it went pretty good. So I just kept going. It's a long process. It takes a lot to learn how to do comedy because there's a lot of science to it.
Mm. And I had a similar conversation with Jarryd Goundrey, and that
Yeah.
he'd been hitting his head against the wall for like 7 years doing this, and it's
Yeah.
only in the last year or so that he's actually getting some attention. So like it's a
Yeah.
long process.
You're like an 8 year overnight success. And he's just like, he's been, like I've seen, he's gone so hard at it. He basically, started doing house sitting and just trying to get places so he could travel all around and not have expenses. And so he had to give up a lot of luxuries and comfort to just push really hard and put everything into it. And it's finally getting some results now, which is just really good to see.
Yeah, well, this is where grunt training comes in handy, where
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, are you right? Sleeping rough and getting treated like shit." And you're like, "Brother, are you serious?"
I'm in a house, like it's
Yeah.
luxury.
I will never forget that one of the first field exercises I'd done, and after weeks of just getting rained on and just being hideous, we went to where were you based? Did you ever have anything to do with Shoalwater Bay?
No, no, I was in
Oh, okay.
Elgra.
So
Yeah.
Raspberry Creek was made entirely out of shipping containers.
Oh, yeah.
Was an urban facility made out of shipping containers. And
Yeah.
we got to stay in there one night, and it looks like a heroin hovel. It looks like an absolute shithole. But we were like, oh my God, we're inside. We don't have to get trained on,
Wow, we must have, this must be joint with the Air Force or something for
right?
us to get a roof. Yeah.
And they were like, and no picket. Oh,
It's
mate,
funny.
how do you think that your military service helped your comedy career? Like, or was it just endless material?
I think it's actually made it harder at the start because we're so conditioned. We have so much, I don't want to use the word brainwashing, but we'll call it conditioning. And I'm very stiff. I can be very just stare at the wall and don't say anything. Scared to take risks. I had to undo all of that. And the audience knows if you're not being genuine, so I can't fake it either. They just don't like it. You got to really start shedding all these layers of conditioning to be able to be who you are as a genuine person, flaws and all. Embarrass, you got to be your
Mm.
embarrassing sort of self as well and be able to feel that. And I think in the army, we don't feel things like guilt, shame, embarrassment. Well, we feel that, but we don't express it. Like I was probably embarrassed the whole time. I had no idea what I was doing the whole time, but I would never have said I don't know what I'm doing, and because you would have just got, everyone would have teased
Mm.
you. Probably, if they're like you're not confident enough to do this, so you shouldn't be doing it. Yeah, so I had to really work on all that, and I'm probably only just getting there now, and it's taken like 4 years of just pulling all that apart.
It's amazing little how it affects you in little things. Like, for example, obviously, because I got medically separated, so the whole last year and a half of my career was just endless doctor's appointments and whatnot.
Okay.
And you'd be like, "Oh, okay, you might need to take your pants off or whatever." And I'm like, "There's clothes has come off,"
Yes, I don't care
and
at
they're
all.
like, "Oh, well, that was quick." And I'm like, "Mate, I've been in the military 11 years. I was duck walking in my underpants down a doctor's surgery for
Yeah,
this doctor before I even joined. Like that set the tone."
yeah. They're like, sir, you're still in the waiting room. You should.
Services at Wendy's. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Oh, so now that we've talked about that, let's get into shell shock. Now, how did shell shock first start?
Okay, so I went up to Cairns and I was just doing an ordinary open mic night there, and I had just 5 minutes of material. I was very new, so I don't think these jokes were particularly funny. But I did one in the middle that was something to do with being in the military, just a funny story. And afterwards, this man came up to me and he started telling me about his Vietnam War service, and he told me a horrific story, like really, really horrific. But which I was like, oh, okay, thanks for sharing that. But I look over and his family are all there. They've got their jaws just dropped, and they told me that he's never spoken about the war ever. That's the
Yeah.
first time. And I won't tell the story because it's like he told me it was
Yeah.
so awful that I had to Google it, be like, did that really happen? And it did, in
Mm.
Vietnam. Um, Even after knowing all the history of Vietnam, I still was like, that's so bad.
Yeah.
So of course, he's not going to talk about it, especially with the
Uh,
way they were all treated. But I just thought that's really powerful because that joke wasn't even funny. That was just nonsense. It was something to do with the Velcro, like how it makes a noise outfield.
yeah.
It's not funny. But if it made him do that, maybe there's more we could do with that. We could do a show that helps people. We've been able to express these feelings, and talk about things that they experienced. I feel like if I'm willing to say that I was an idiot and bad and being a soldier, that it just makes people like, oh, well, I can say what I want to,
Mm. Yeah.
stuff I've held close to my chest for this long. Um, so we decided to do one show. The first one we did at Sit Down Comedy Club. We sold probably about 120 tickets, and it went pretty well. We gave a little bit of money to Legacy, not a lot. Great lineup, and we decided we weren't sure if we were going to do it again, but then we decided we would right at the last minute. And so, but that one ended up selling out, the second one at Sit Down, and
Mm.
it just, I think military people and the whole sort of space with that it takes a lot to get them to trust you, which makes sense because there's a
Mm.
lot of things that have happened with the government and, a lot of distrust. So
Yeah.
it took, yeah, a couple of years to get people to trust us, but now that they do and they can see that we're really trying to help, like, because we don't make any money at all, probably cost us a bit of money by the time we try fly people in and
Yeah.
things like that. Um, yeah, so once now that we're sort of really showing that, people are jumping on board, and I'm hoping it will grow from here.
How do you see? How have you seen the veteran community? Obviously, from an outsider, you've been out for a long time, but how have
Yeah.
you seen the veteran community kind of change in just the last few years since Shell Shock first started?
Well, I'm not 100% sure how it was a few years ago. I didn't
Mm,
really, like, I wasn't a part of it, I suppose. What I can see is there's still a lot of anger. There's still sadness and grief.
mm,
And perhaps even as we're losing people now to mental health, like we're sort of going back to where we were 20 years or 10 years ago, whenever people got out and re-experiencing some of those emotions. So, um, and there is people trying to do, support as well. So there's good sides as well. More positive, I mean. Not that people going through their trauma is bad at all. That's probably
mm.
healing, but there is still a lot of anguish there.
How familiar were you with the Pineapple Express when, because you were saying that you weren't really privy to to the veterans community, and I'm wondering if maybe it's because you weren't following that. Are you familiar with it?
I do follow it. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not like obsessed with it or looking at it all the time,
No,
but
no. It was just
yeah.
it's been an interesting evolution since it started. Way back when, because obviously things have changed. It got to the point where you didn't even dare forget liking it. You didn't even dare follow it.
Oh, right. Yeah, I didn't know
Yeah,
that. No.
it was a big deal. And now there's Pineapple Express stickers on like every second vehicle in Enoggera Barracks. It's truly,
Really?
truly extraordinary how much it has changed.
Okay.
Because the army was trying to destroy it for years and
Yeah,
spent
okay.
heaps on it. Yes, it's
They're
worth looking
just
into.
trying to silence everyone, or they just
Yeah.
didn't
Oh,
try
it's
and get back under control, I assume. So,
army meme pages, mate. You can't have them. Can't have morale.
yeah,
Morale
okay.
not allowed. So, where were you based the whole time you were a truckie? Sorry,
Just
truckman?
inaugural.
Just in
Yeah.
Oxford. Oh,
Yeah, I like that.
what unit?
Seven Sisby.
Oh, gross. How many? To the nearest estimation, how many thousands of sandbags do you think you filled at Tisby?
Oh, yeah, yeah, lots up at, especially at Wide Bay, just filling up those sandbags. I like doing that because you just don't have to think. You just sit there and do that, and especially if it's nice weather. There's a beach there, there's Rainbow
Yeah.
Beach. I can
Oh, look,
relax.
White Bay, Piney Point, White Bay is a nice place. Like, don't get me wrong. It's the first time I came across Seven Sisby outfield where I had to refuel my Bushmaster, I genuinely thought I had travelled back to the Somme. I had not seen so many sandbags. It literally felt like I was moving back into World War One. It was nuts. You guys were just
Funny. What
Saspy.
you were you? What were you
So
doing?
I was 6 RAR for 8 years and then one SIG for three.
Okay.
So I served my entire 11-year career in Enoggera.
All
So
right.
yeah, it was pretty good. So I never did Darwin, never did Tully, all of the usual experience, which is good. Um, mate, I don't even fuck it. Bringing this up, people are losing their minds, and you can probably tell where I'm going to go with this. The whole Jimmy Kimmel thing, whatnot, over in the States. As someone who is in comedy, I've certainly got my feelings about it. Like, how do you feel about it? I mean, should we ever be losing our job over jokes?
Oh, no, definitely not. But I think because I look at some of the behavior and things, and it's not a surprise to me. That's so
Mm,
probably like, the way I feel about it is, oh yeah, that was going to happen soon. We shouldn't be doing any losing lives over having opinions. We shouldn't be. That sets it's a very dangerous precedent on like I don't want to go sides
mm,
left or right or anything like that. Either side and what's happening is not going well. Like we shouldn't be setting those precedents of silencing people, whether it be literally by violence or by just removing them from their platform. I don't know why we have if you don't want to hear them, stop listening. I don't know why that's become such a hard thing to do now.
mm. Yeah, it is. It's a bit beyond me, man, and I don't know. I don't know where we're going to go for it because yeah, people are just so tense. I'm like, my goodness.
Yeah,
How?
I'm a little bit emu in the sand with it because I know there's nothing I can do about it. It's happening. I sort of have just enough to know what's going on, but then I try to just go out in nature or spend time with my family because I think I'd get too into it. I'd be too like anxious and have anxiety all the time.
I literally unfollowed every news org. on my social media about midway through 2023, and I never looked back. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not perfect. I still have to deal with a lot of stuff coming in
Yeah.
from my friends groups, but it is so nice when you don't have, hey, bunch of children on the other side of the world just died. How do you feel
Yeah.
about that? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, fucking awful. Thank you for telling me that thing that I can't do anything about. I'm now thinking about like, yeah,
Yeah.
fuck
Yeah.
off.
And I know people like want to can be activists and are doing great things. So I don't want to like put anyone down for what they are doing or what they're saying, but I just think it would destroy me. That's why I'm not doing it. I just wouldn't like to see those children. I'd just be grieving for them and thinking about it too much. But yeah, and it's a disciplined thing too that's so tempting. So even I try and like hide everything that I just like my algorithm on TikTok's just dogs falling over and things, but it's still popped up and I still get, oh, what is that? Like I get intrigued by it, and then I've got to, I might slip a few times and just watch it too much, and then be like, you need to get rid of it because it's not helping having it in blasted into my home, straight into my hand, at any time of the day.
Mm.
With your kids, you could be doing anything. That's not good for you. That's not good for any of us, I don't think.
The doom scroll is real. So
Yeah.
look, I had a silly question buried at the end of this, and fuck it, I'm going to go for it. So here you go. Here's a bit of a tonal shift to get us back on something fun to finish with. One
Sure.
of the things that I feel like civilians truly don't understand is some of the horrible, horrible places you will have to take a shit in your career. Like
Yeah.
we're talking. Cities won't understand the true horror that is a 60-degree portaloo.
Yeah.
In the middle that hasn't been emptied in weeks, in the middle of some awful training area. Um, I'm just thinking back. So, how long did you do a Rosso? Did you do about four odd
Yeah.
years? Or
Yeah.
yeah, in the 4 odd years, and in the horrible field and everything. Can you think of picture an army bathroom in your head that is still uh, stands out in your mind?
Oh, I don't know. Just it would just be going anywhere in the bush when you're digging a hole. I think when there were women there, they did try and put a portaloo. Even if it was gross, it was still a portaloo. So we didn't have it as bad as you guys did. That had to just whatever. You guys are probably
Yeah. So that became a thing throughout my career as they started tried to bring girls into the infantry.
looking over my
Um,
shoulder all the time.
yeah, right. And so
Yeah.
we would often have Wooloos, but if we wouldn't, I would literally go out with some star pickets and some hessian and try to make them a little, just a little
Yeah.
privacy curtain or something. Because I remember they were like, I was offering them coffee and they're like, oh, we don't want anything because then we've got to go wee. I'm like, are you seriously turning down Brews outfield because you're dehydrating yourself in order to not go to the bathroom? That's not living.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't allow that. Brew is life.
It's probably worse because when I was doing flying, I think really because when I had to go to the bathroom urgently in a Cessna, there isn't one there, so I had to go land. And I was paying for it. Like I think it's $6 a minute or something. So I
No.
sometimes would have to go do that, and I'm like, I just spent $200 to go to go do a shit here. Like it was either here or the airplane. So
Oh, bro. And there's the quote. I just spent $200 to take a shit. Yeah.
yeah,